Ser o no ser, ese es el dilema. Si acaso es más noble para el espíritu el sufrir las piedras y dardos de la ultrajante fortuna, o el tomar las armas contra un mar de problemas para oponiéndose acabar con ellos. Morir, dormir, nada más. Con un sueño decir que acabamos la congoja y las miles de decepciones que la carne hereda. Esta es una consumación devotamente deseada. Morir, dormir, dormir, tal vez soñar. Aquí está el problema. Pues en aquel letargo de la muerte, ¿qué sueños tendré cuando me haya liberado de este tumulto mortal? Me daría la paz. Este es el respeto que prolonga tanto la calamidad. A no ser así, ¿soportaría acaso los azotes y los desplantes del tiempo, las equivocaciones del opresor, la arrogancia del soberbio, las penas del amor despreciado, la insolencia de los burócratas y el menosprecio que el mérito más paciente soporta del hombre ruin, cuando yo mismo podría alcanzar mi tranquilidad con una simple navaja? ¿Quién asumiría tantos fardos? ¿Quién gemiría y transpiraría bajo una vida agobiante, a no ser por el temor de un algo después de la muerte? País desconocido de cuyos confines ningún viajero regresa. Desconcierta la voluntad y nos obliga a soportar los males que nos afligen antes de arrojarnos a otros que desconocemos. Así, esta conciencia hace un cobarde de mí mismo.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and the entire members of our companies to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far has discretion fought with nature that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves.
Now follows that you know Fortinbras Investment Company holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be colleagued with the dream of his advantage, they had not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of our profits, those vast countries gained by all bonds of law by my dear brother.
So much for him.
Now our business is, Mr. Laertes has sued Fortinbras Company's unrighteous strategy. We shall demand a fair retribution for their attempt to take over our investments in Colombian oil companies and Bolivian mines of coal. We await your signature, young Hamlet.
That these two solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a view, or that the law had not fixed his canon against self-slaughter. Wealth, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. This is an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and grows, and only nature possesses them. But it should come to this. But 2 months death, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a man that was to my uncle what Gandhi and King to Hitler, so human, so loving to my mother, Why, she would hang on him, and yet within a month, a little month. Why she, even she, oh God, married to my uncle, the beast that lacks this course of reason, mother. Now the salt of her most hypocritical tears had left the flushing in her gold eyes. Most wicked speed, pause with such dexterity to ancestral sheets. Most wicked speed, to pause with such dexterity to ancestral sheets.
Tell us of your suit. You cannot speak of reason to the trustees and lose your voice. What would you beg, Laertes? There shall not be my offer, and not your asking. The head is not more native to the heart than is the profit on our investments to your father's work. Why did you ask us here?
To quit this business and return to Bogota, from which I willingly came to the United States to renovate my contracts under your company's reorganization. Now, I must confess, my duty is done, and my thoughts and wishes bend again to Colombia.
It was not me, but Polonius who sent for you. What does your father say?
He has, my lord, wrung from me my slow signature. By laborsome petition, and at last upon his will, I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, accept to place him back in Bogota.
My will is yours, Laertes. And no, my cousin Hamlet, my son.
A little more than keen and less than kind.
That is not a loving and fair reply. How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so much, my lord. My swarthy skin tells you I am too much under the sun.
Sometimes he walks 4 hours together along that bridge. Cast thy nighted color off, and let your eye look like a friend to these employees of our company. Don't seek with your veiled lids for your father's dust. For like me, you must accept that everyone must die, passing through nature to nothing.
Nothingness is our fashion, mother.
And why does it seem so particular with you?
It doesn't seem, mother. It is. I do not seems. It is not only my inky cloak, or morning suits of solemn black, or windy suspiring of forced breath, no. Or the fruitful river of the eye, or the dejected behavior of the visage, together with all forms, suits, and shapes of grief that can denote me truly. This indeed seem, for their actions that any man might play. But I have that within which is past is shown. These but the trappings and the suits of woe.
It is so sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to do these customary duties for your father. But you must remember, your father lost a father. That father lost his. And the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolence is a course of impious stubbornness, unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to the interests of your relatives still alive, a heart unfortified, an impatient mind, a simple and childish understanding. Because death must be. And that is as common knowledge as to realize that these words were recorded on tape. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie! This is heaven's fault, death's fault, nature's fault, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the company know that without your consent you will be replaced, and our profits will continue. we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of Philadelphia, increasing our income, your father's legacy.
I know what is best for you, Hamlet. Let not your mother waste her time and stay with us.
I shall in all my best obey you, mother.
I think I saw him yesterday night.
So? Who?
My lord, Mr. Hamlet, your father.
The president. My father.
Tis in your admiration for a while with an attent ear till I may deliver this marvel to you.
Let me hear.
In the dead, vast and middle of the night, two of my friends were encountered by a figure like your father, wearing at point exactly. He appears before them and with solemn march goes slowly and stately by. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes, and almost to jelly my friends stand dumb and speak not to him. Then I, with them on the third night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word came true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform of the graves.
Do you not speak to it?
I did, but answer made it none. And yet, once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk and hasted away and vanished from our sight.
It's very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true, and I did think it written down in our duty to make you know of it.
Indeed, sirs. But this troubles me. Are you going there again tonight?
I warrant I will.
Where that ghost assumes my noble father's person, I'll speak to it. To hell itself should give and bid me hold my peace. I pray you both, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. I will require your loves.
Necessary work. Farewell. As winds give benefit and convoys assistant. Not sleep. Let me hear from you.
You doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, keep it a fashion and a toy in blood. Valiant in the youth of prime country, forward, permanent, sweet, not lasting. Perfume and suppliance of a minute more.
Your fences rank and smells to heaven.
Native few of resolutions strictly over the pale past of Hamlet's thought. A corporation's enterprise of great pith and moment. In his regards, these currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor court'll do besmirch the virtue of his will. You and your offspring must fear him. For he himself is subject by his birth. He may not, as unvalued people do, carve for himself. For on his choice it depends the security and increment of his own state. We are but employees, and if he says that he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister. Your heart is fair, and the canker rolls the infants of the spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed. Keep your love in the rear of your affection.
I will the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart, but, good my brother, do not, Some ungracious Republicans do show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, with like a puffed and reckless libertine himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and bricks not his own reed.
A double blessing is a double grace. Now you must go to Bogota, Laertes. But before you're leaving, keep these few precepts in your memory.
Most humbly do I make my leave, my lord.
He had of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection?
I don't speak like a green girl unsifted in such perilous circumstances. I do believe his tenders.
I don't know what I should think.
Father, we have decided to marry in honorable fashion.
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to, go to.
I know when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, father, give more light than heat, indeed. I haven't taken them for fire. From this time, I will be scanter to Hamlet in our nightly parting. His entreatments will be placed at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Hamlet believes so much in him that he is so young that desire alone can unfold his promises. I don't believe his vows, for they are brokers, mere beggars of unholy suits. But I would be better to beguile. This is for all. I would not, in plain, give more favors to Hamlet until the purpose of my memory be assured by his demand.
Air bites truly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and eager air.
What hour now?
I think the clocks of 12.
No, it is struck.
What does this mean?
My uncle do wake up tonight and takes his rose. He keeps whistle, and the swaggering upspring reels. And as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet does bray out the triumph of his pledged.
Is it a custom?
Ah, Mary, it is. But to my mind, though I am alien here and not to the manner born, it is a custom more honoured in the breach than the observance. These heavy heads spinning east and west makes us target and comment of other nations. They clap us drunkards, and with Swedish phrase they accuse of drug addiction. Indeed, it takes from our income to perform that height the pith and marrow of our taxes. Angels and ministers of grace, defend us! Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Be thy intents wicked or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shade that I will speak to thee. I call thee Hamlet, the man, the father, the trustee. Answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell me why thy canonized bonds have burst their sermons. Why the sepulchre, wherein we saw thee quietly inurned, had oped his ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up beginning. What may this be that thou, dead corpse, again in complete Catan, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous? We fools of nature so horridly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our minds. Say, why is this? Wherefore, what should we do?
No, by no means.
You will not speak. Then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fee? I do not set my life in a pin's fee. And for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? Waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you to the flood, my lord, or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that beetles over his face into the sea, and there assumes some other horrible form which might drive you into madness and deprive you of your sovereignty of reason? Think of it. The very place puts toys of desperation, without more motive, into every brain that fathoms to the sea, and hears it roar beneath.
It weighs me still.
I'll follow thee.
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render I myself.
Ah, spook ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I'm bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. And thou false spirit, doomed for a certain term to work the night, for today confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of exploitation are burned and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, and I tell my whose like this world will harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, may thy two eyes like stars start from their ears, and each particular hair twist and in like this upon the earth time. This eternal blazon must not be ears of flesh and blood. All list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love, God, revenge this foul and most unnatural murder. Most foul has been the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Pays me to know it that I, with wings as sweet as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in Elysium like a wife. Now, Hamlet, here, it is giving out that is slipping in my orchard, a serpent has stung me. The whole ear of the company is by a forced process of my death rankly abused. The serpent that did sting thy father's life now sits on his throne.
My prophetic soul, my uncle!
Ah, that incestuous, that adulterer beast with witchcraft of his weed, with treacherous gifts, all wicked weed and gifts, that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me whose love was of the dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage. But soft, the things I send the morning air, brief, let me be.
Ophelia, thy future pleasures be all my lacks remembered. Can I lie again in your lap?
Your head upon my lap?
I don't mean country matters. My only fair thought is to lie between your legs.
What is this? You are too merry today, Hamlet.
Who? I? You're only a jig maker? What should a man do to be merry?
For thy love?
Do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
Took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his hand thus over his brow, he falls into such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little, and thrice his head thus moving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for on the street he went without their help, and to the last bended the light on me.
This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself, and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as often as any passion on earth that does afflict our desires. I'm glad you gave him hard words of late.
Only repelled his messages and denied his access to me. Could the denial of love make so mad a man? I'm sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck our likeness.
Beshrew your jealousy! By heaven! It is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinion as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion.
This must be known by the trustees, which being kept close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, moreover that we much did long to see you, the need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending.
Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation?
So call it, since nor the exterior man nor the inward man resembles what it was.
What it should be, more than his father's death. Thus has put him so much from the understanding of himself, and cannot dream of. I entreat you both, the being of so young days brought up with him, and sit so neighborhood to his youth from behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here a little while in Philadelphia, and by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather as you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentle ladies, he has much talked of you, and sure I am, true women there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our company.
I hope a visitation will receive such thanks as fits a tycoon's remembrance.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
I beseech you to instantly visit my too much changed son.
Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there. You are still the father of good news.
Oh, speak of that I do long to hear.
First, let me inform you of our lawsuit against Fortinbras Investment. Hamlet's news shall be the fruits to that great feast.
How has he found the head and source of all my son's distemper?
I do not doubt that the main thing, his father's death and our o'er-hasty marriage.
The government has suppressed Fortinbras Company's interests in Bolivia and Colombia, which appeared to our Minister of Businesses to be a preparation against Greek multinational companies. But, better looked upon, he truly discovered that it was against Elsinor investments. Fortinbras trustees, in brief, have been ordered to pay us $800 million in fines and to make a vow before the court never more to attempt to undermine our interests in those lucrative countries by suborning their variable attorneys.
It likes us well.
A well-ended business indeed. My liege and madam, to expostulate on what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day and night is night and time is time, were but to waste night, day, and time. And since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishings, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad.
More matter with less art.
That he is mad, it's true. It's true, it's pity. And pity, it's true. A foolish figure. But farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then. Now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say, the cause of this defect. For this effect defectives comes by cause. Thus it remains, the remainder thus, perpend. I have a daughter, a psychologist in this enterprise, who, in her duty, has given me this.
To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia.
It is an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you should hear more. Thus,
in her excellent white bosom.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Stay a while, good madam. Machines are faithful.
But never doubt I love, dear Ophelia. I'm ill at these numbers. I have no art to reckon my groans. That I love thee best. Most best. Believe it.
This has my daughter shown me, according to her professional responsibility. And she has more tapes of his soliciting as they fell out by psychiatric appointment, all given to her ear.
But how does she receive his love?
What do you think of me? I fain prove that I am your more faithful and constant laborer.
What can we think when you have seen this hot love on the wing? As I perceived it, I must tell you that.
What might you and my dear Claudius here think? That I have given my heart to noble winking, mute and dumb? Or looked upon his love with idle sight? What might you think? No. I went straight to work, and Ophelia has deemed Hamlet out of his star. This must not be. And so she decided to lock herself from his resort, date but other men, receive not his calls, which done, he, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence a watch, thence into a weakness, and by this declension, into the madness wherein now he raves.
Do you think on this?
It may be, very like.
Has there been such a time? I'd fain know that Ophelia has positively diagnosed schizophrenia when it proved otherwise? Take this from this if it be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where within the center.
What may we do to take it further?
Mark this encounter if he loves her not. How childly you look reading!
You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I will you as a honest man.
Honest?
Oh, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, sir.
For is the soul breeds magazine of dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion. You adopted.
Yes, I am.
I cannot walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, my lord. Your daughter may conceive.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Truly, in my youth, I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this. What do you read, boy?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter?
Between who?
I mean, the matter that you read about a maggot.
Slander, sir. For matter says here that all men have grey beards, but their faces are wrinkled, their eyes bulging, thick amber of blood drink gum, and that they have plentiful lack of wheat together with no
Will this be madness? Yet there is method to it. Will you walk along our river with us, my lord? Indeed it is. How pregnant sometimes his pauses are.
Happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part with all. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life! These tedious old fools. So, girls, how do you both?
The indifferent children of the earth. Happy in that we are not over happy. O fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
You are the soles of her shoe.
Neither.
Then, you leave all her ways, not in the middle of her fables.
Sure, her privates we.
In the secret parts of fortune, most true. She's a whore. What news?
None, my lord. The world grows honest.
Then doomsday is near. But I know your news is not true. What have you, my ex-lovers, deserved at the lands of fortune that she sends you to prison here?
Prison?
Pennsylvania is a prison.
Then the world is one.
A goodly one in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Pennsylvania being one of the worst.
We think not so.
Why? Then this is not to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Bitterness makes it so. This is too narrow.
Oh, God. I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Were it not that I have but dreams.
Which dreams indeed are greed, for the very substance of greed is merely the shadow of a dream.
The dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly. And I think greed of so light and airy a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies, and our judges, and outstretched investors, the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the bank? For by my faith, I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
Not such matter. I will not argue with the rest of my guards. But to speak to you like an honest man, I must to be cared. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you of Philadelphia? Beggar than I am poor even in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, dear to dear, a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
You, whose modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the owners of the company, and it was the president, my uncle, who sent for you. That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of your fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by one more dear, a better proposer could charge you with all. Be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or not. Nay, then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to my step-parents won't be stained with treason. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, forgone all custom of exercises, lost all my mirth, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air. Look you, this brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregations of vapors. What a piece of work is a woman. How noble in reason. How infinite in faculty. In form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world. Paragon of animals. Yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Women delight not me. No, nor men neither. Though by your smiling you seem to say so.
There was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said, women delight not me?
To think, if you delight not in woman, what Lenten entertainment the player shall receive from you. They have answered your demands to perform one of your poems.
After your death, you had better have a bad epitaph than my poetic ill report while you live. Play the all-white, straight male character shall be welcome. His beauty shall have food of me. The adulterer should use his foil and target. The lover shall not side gratis. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled about the sea. And the lady shall say her mind freely. I know the players. Their need comes by means of the decline of theatre. Their endeavor keeps them in the wanted peace. My uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived. I am bad north nor west. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsome. This great baby you see here is not yet out of his swaddling clouds.
Where they say an old man is twice a child.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it.
I have news to tell you.
I have news to tell you. When Grace was an actress in L.A.
All the actors have been paid.
legs!
On my honor.
Each actor will be gone on his ass.
The best actors on the East Coast, either for action and comedy, horror, exotic, or melodramatic film. Wells cannot be too heavy, nor Chaplin too light.
Oh, Jephthah, father of Israel, what a treasure you have.
Who's Jephthah? What treasure?
A judge who sacrificed his daughter, the wish he loved passing well.
Still on my daughter?
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
Welcome all. I'm glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. My old friend. Your face is hairy since I saw you last. Welcome all. I'm glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. My old friend. Your face is hairy since I saw you last.
Do you come to beat me in Valley Forge? We'll have a spacious trade. With eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, all Grand Seer Priam seeks. So proceed you.
My poor God, Hamlet, well spoken! With good diction and good discretion.
None. He finds him striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then, senseless bleeding, seeming to feel his blow, with flaming top stoops to his face, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining upon the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So, as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But, as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold winds speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon, the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof etern, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bloody sword now falls on Priam. But who? Oh, who had seen the molded queen running barefoot up and down, threatening the plains with sightless room? But if the gods had seen her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
I pray thee no more! Our multimedia agency can use them according to their desert.
Use every man after his desert, and who should escape whipping? The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Can we stage the murder of Gonzago?
Yes, my friend.
Well, next week we'll start rehearsals. You could for a need study a speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I would sit down and insert in it. Could you not?
If our pay is reasonable, of course.
Mr. Polonius will persuade you indeed.
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause, he will by no means confess.
With a crafty madness I keep aloof, before they bring me on to some confession.
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition. Although once we told him of certain players, he spoke well of cinema, and there did seem in him a kind of joy.
Drive his purpose on to these delights.
a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul to his own conceit? That from his working, all his visage wan, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole body suits with forms to his conceit. And all for nothing, for Hecua. What is Hecua to him, or he to Hecua that he should wait for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cure for passion that I have? He would unbound the screen with sadness and cleave the ear of the indolent audience with horrid speech. Make mad the guilty and appeal the free. Confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy metal rascal, big like Jonah dreams and pregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a father upon whose property and most dear life a damned thief was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, takes me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this? Shrooms. I should take it.
Remorseless treacherous,
Remorseless, treacherous,
treacherous, vengeance. Why, what an awesome I. Why, what this is most brave that I. This is so brave that I will murder most like a hold on back my heart with words and torn cursing like an paid black queen. My also say off by your knee, off by your knee to fight.
I have heard that guilty creatures, sitting at the screening of the Passion, have, by the very forgiveness of the Lord, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it has no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, but any man has power to assume a pleasing shape. And perhaps out of my weakness and melancholy, my friends oppress me with spirits to try my sanity. I'll have grounds more relative than these. The play will be the time wherein I'll catch the conscience of this crime.
I do wish Ophelia's will be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness.
Ophelia will approach Hamlet in his affliction. With a lonely countenance, she will tape his wishes.
So?
Seeing unseen, we will of their encounter frankly judged. She will color her words with loneliness, that this is too much proved, that with devotion's visage and pious actions, we do sugar over the devil himself.
I humbly thank you. Well.
Of the hindrances of yours that I've long longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, never I never gave you all.
I honored you right well you did, and with them words of such sweet breath composed as made the things more rich, their perfume.
Take this again, for to the nobler mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind.
Are you honest? Are you a mother? That if you are an honest mother, your honesty should admit no disgust to your beauty.
Beauty alone had better powers than this honest mother.
Honesty, aye, truly. But the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to abode, than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once, You should have not believed me. I did love you not. I see you were the more deceived. Get that bastard to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse thee of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I'm very proud, revengeful, ambitious. With more offences at my back than I had thoughts to put them in. Imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are her knaves, all believe none on us. Where is your father? Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house.
Very well.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape! Get me to a nunnery, go! If thou wilt marry, marry a fool. But wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go! And quickly too! Farewell. I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. Nature has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and nickname nature's creatures. Make you wanton with your ignorance. Go to. I know more on it. It hath made me mad. Say we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall leave. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
The noble mind is here o'erthrown. The smartest sportsman, soulmate, father, hard worker, student, high-tongued figure, the expectancy and rose of this family company. Lass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. Of human beings most dejected and wretched that share the honey of musical vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangle, out of tune and harsh. The feature of lone youth blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me to have seen what I have seen.
Love. His affections do not that way incline, though when he spoke, though it lacked form a little, it was not like madness.
There is something in his soul over which his melancholy sits and brood.
And I do not doubt the hatch and disclose will present some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination set it down. He shall with speed to Colombia, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply, the seas and countries with different objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on't?
Do as you please. But if you hold it fit, entreat him first to show his own grief to you. If you find him not, to Bucaramanga send him, or confine him to where our doctors best shall think it. Madness and great ones shall not unwatched go.
You spoke the speech as I pronounced it to you, trippingly, in the tongue. Were your mouth in the words as many privileged actors do, I would have had to hire a pop singer to perform my lines.
Didn't I saw the air too much with my hands?
Not at all, for in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you acquired and begot a temperance that gave a smoothness to your movement. It offends me to the soul to hear a robustious model, to tear up passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are incapable of nothing but inexplicable special effects and persecutions. Be not too tame neither.
I let my own discretion be my tutor, suiting my actions to my words, the words to the action.
With this special observance, that you overstep not the modesty of nature, for everything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end at first and now was, and is, as it were, to hold a mirror up to nature, to show to virtue her own image, scorn her own future, and the very age and body of our time his form and pressure. Now this overdone, though it makes the unskillful laugh, cannot but make the judicious commentator grieve. The judgment of the which one must overweight more in your whole career than a whole theatre of uneducated fellows.
Horatio, here, sweet friend, at your service. Thou art even as just a man as ever my conversation caught withal.
My dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. What advancement may I hope from thee that no revenue hast, but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candid tongue lick absurd pun, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee where profit may follow funning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing, a woman that fortune's buffets and rewards. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, in my heart of heart as I do thee. Observe my uncle.
These hulk of guilt do not itself enkennel in one speech. It is a damned ghost that we have seen.
Polonius, you played once in the university, you say?
That did I. I was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a captain.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by us.
Thanks, mother. Here there is some metal more attractive. Look how shapely my mother looks. My father died within these 2 hours.
It is twice 2 months, my patient.
So long? 2 months and not forgotten yet.
You are not.
So many journeys must the sun and moon make. Thus again, count over before love be done.
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
This film is brief.
As women's love.
What is the name of the film?
The Mousetrap!
You are as good as a chorus, my lord.
I can interpret between you and your lover if I see the puppet's darling.
You are keen, Hamlet, you are keen.
It will cause you a groaning to take off my edge.
Still better and still worse.
His brother poisons him on his bed of matrimony for his estate. The poisoner gets the love of his wife. What? Someone rises. Frightened with false fire.
How did you dare?
Lights! Lights! Lights!
So runs the world away.
The expressive.
Very well.
From the talk of the poisoner.
I did very well note it.
Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole story.
Mr. Claudius.
Oh.
Mr. Claudius. Sir, what of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distemper.
With drugs?
No, youngster, rather with wrath.
Your wisdom should signify far richer to show this to his doctor.
Put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
Untamed, sir, pronounce.
Your mother, with great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
Welcome.
Your behavior hath struck her in amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother.
She wishes to speak with you by her garden down by the river.
Ye shall obey her, for she thinks times of our mother.
My lord, he once did love me.
I do steal by these guns and bullets.
What is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door of your own liberties if you deny your griefs to us, your friends. He lacks advancement, sir. How can that be? When you have the voice of your uncle himself in your inheritance for Elsinor.
I do not well understand that. Will you read upon this book?
I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
This is as easy as lying. Govern the characters with your eyes and it will discover the most eloquent music.
With these cannot I command any utterance of meaning. I have not the skill.
Why? Look you now. How unworthy a thing you make of me.
You would read upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would play me from my lowest tone to the top of my compass. And yet there is so much music, so excellent voice in this little text. Yet you cannot read it. For Christ's wounds, do you think that I am easier to be read than a book? Call me the instrument you want. But you can't fret me, you cannot wait upon me.
You won't block out the heart of my mystery.
How could I drink hot blood? Such bitter business, they would quake to look on. Soft. Now to my mother. Oh, heart, lost not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. Tongue and soul in these be hypocrites.
I like him not. Nor stands it safe to let his madness reign.
And he, along with you, to Colombia shall fly, in order to be protected against...
Now he's praying and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. That will be scant. The villain kills my father and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. This is higher than salary, not revenge. Mother? 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 No, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go. Question with a wicked tongue.
How now, Hamlet? What's the matter now? Have you forgot me?
You are the trustee, your husband's brother's wife. We did not well done so. You are my mother. You shall not budge. Do not go till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What will that do? That will not murder me. What? Help!
How now? A rat?
Help!
Look at them. Nay, I know not. Is it the bastard?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed? Almost as bad could mother as kill a husband and bury him with his brother!
As kill a husband?
Hell, lady, it was my word! Thou wretched trash! Fool! I took thee for thy better. Thou finds to be overworking in some danger.
What have I done? Mother's leg, I saw the voice of beauty.
That blurs the blush and grace of modesty, picks off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent dove, and sets a blister there. Makes marriage vows as false as dicers' arts. Such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and makes hypocritical religion a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face don't glow. Yeah! This solidity and compound match with peaceful visage, as against the doom is toxic in the act!
I mean, what act that Lord Bernardo thunders in the index?
Look here, upon that statue, and on these, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See, for the grace was seated on his brow, while he was curls. The front of Washington himself, and I like Montgomery to threaten and command. Stationed by the herald Mercury, you lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. A combination and a form indeed, but every god bids him to set his seal. To give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now, what fellow! He is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you asked? Could you on this fair mountain live to feed and batten on this mercy? Have you asked? You cannot call it love, since sure you have. Else could you not have motion? But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness wouldn't err. Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight. But shame, where is thy blush?
Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turns mine eyes into my very soul, and there is these black and grained spots and will not leave their tints.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an unseen bed, stood in corruption, honey and making love over the nasty style.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more! These words like daggers entering my ears. Hamlet, no more. Quietly, son.
A murderer and a villain, a loser that is not the 24th the tithe of your present lord.
Who's the vice of men?
Save me and cover me with your wings. You heavenly gods, what would your gracious figure? You come, your tiny soul to shine. The lapse in time and passing gets go by the important active of your friend command. Say!
Not forget, this visitation is but to red my hour's blood. But look, amazement on my mother sits. A step between her and her fighting soul, concealed in weakest bodies the strongest works.
How is it with you, lady?
Yes. How is it with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with incorporeal air do hold discourse? Your bedded hair, like life and excrement, starts up, it stands on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame with thy distemper sprinkle cool patience.
On him! Look you how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, which into stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with his piteous action to combat my stern effects. Then what I have to do will one true color, pierce perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is, I see.
But do you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why? Look you there. How it steals away. My father, in his habit, does he live? Look where he goes, even now, into the river.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy. My pulse as used doth temperately keep time and makes us helpful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring it to the test, then I the matter will reward, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that mattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my man's speaks. It will by the skin film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen.
Thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Ah, throw away the worser part of it, and leave the purer with the other half. Good night. How can I repent? Our estate will punish me with these and these with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind.
What shall I do?
Let the blood loser tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him, for a pair of rishy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damn fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. Break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe as thou hast said to me.
I must go to South America, you know that?
Oh, I forgot. 'Tis so concluded.
These letters sealed, my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will others fang, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Did it work? Good night, mother.
He has murdered, mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier, in his lawless fit.
It had been so with us. Had we been there, his levity is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. How shall this bloody crime be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short restrained and place him out of reach of the law.
Mad son!
So much is our love, we, like the owners of a foul seas, will keep it from divulging to the press.
What have you done with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust where to eat is kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and hide it to the law.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not my own. Besides, to be touched by a sponge.
What replication should be made by the son of the owner of the state?
Take you me for a sponge?
That sucks up the president's ass. His authorities, his rewards. But such officers do best service to the company at the end. It keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw. First mouthed, to be last swallowed. And when it needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
You must tell us where the body is, and the president will protect you.
The president is a thing.
A thing?
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
Oh no, what hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of political crabs are eating at him. Your crab is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us. And we fat ourselves for maggots. You are a fat man. And your beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table, that's the end.
Aye.
A man may fish with the worm that hath eaten of Polonius, and eat of the fish that hath eaten the worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing but to show you how the body of Polonius may go a progress through the gaps of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven, send him fighter to see. If your messenger find him not there, take him in the other place by yourself. You may nose him as you go down the river into the sea.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety which we do tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence in fiery quickness. Prepare thyself to leave in 1 hour. Everything has been arranged for Bucaramanga.
For Bucaramanga?
Unless you wish to spend a prison life. Arbitrary madness gives not safety. Diseases desperate grown by desperate appliance are relieved.
For Bucaramanga?
Farewell, mother. I'm thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother! Father and mother are but man and wife, and man and wife are but one flesh. So my mother!
Each toy seems prologue to some great amiss, so full of artless jealousy as guilt.
Where's the beauteous trustee of all wealth?
Now, Ophelia.
Should I, your true lover, know from my own? By his cockle hat and staff, and his sandal shoon, is dead and gone, lady. Dead and gone. At his heel a grass-green turf, at his head a stone.
Ophelia,
pray you not.
Look here, Claudius.
Lauded with sweet flowers, which be wept to the grave did go like true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
We know what we are, but not what we may be. Death be at your table.
Conceit upon my father.
You promised me to wed. I would have done by yonder sun. Thou hast not come to my bed.
How long hath she been thus?
Hope all will be well. You must be patient. But I cannot choose but weep to think that they should lay him in the cold ground.
Brother shall know of it. So, I thank you for your good counsel.
Come! My coach!
Quiet from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures and mere beasts.
Her brother has in secret come from Bogota, feeds on his wonder, and keeps himself in clouds. He wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death.
Sorrows come many, and in many places bring superfluous death.
The strike has elected him, and as the world were now but to begin, family values forgot, law not known, they cry, choose we. Laertes shall be our trustee. Caps, hands, tongues, applauded to the clouds. Laertes shall be Elsinor's trustee. Laertes' trustee.
Give me my father, Claudius!
Calmly, good Laertes.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy strike seems so giant-like? Tell me why thou art incensed. Speak, man.
Thus you pay, making your employees work late at night until they drown and are lost into the seas and trails.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I will not be juggled with. To hell allegiance to you and to the Union. I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father!
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your father's death, it is writ in your revenge. Once you be informed of who is your friend and who your enemy, wilt thou lift to the coast-to-coast strike?
No. If it hurt my enemies.
Believe me, like we mistake the dead gleam of stars for the stars themselves, thus you mistake opportunity for abuse and friend with foe.
To my good friends, thus wide I open up my arms, like the kind, life-rendering pelican, and repass them with my blood.
Good Laertes, and now you speak like a good son and true gentleman, that I am guiltless in your father's death, and am most sensible of grief for it.
Excuse me, sir. Whose lives were these?
They were of Latin America, sir.
For which purpose they died, I pray you?
They were gold miners, clerical flatterers, and naive politicians.
Who confronted them?
Corrupt leaders with Swiss bank accounts, who in the name of wealth and progress destroy our vital natural resources.
Was this a revolution, senor? Or were they fighting for some rights?
Truly to speak, sir, and with no addition, they came to pluck out uranium, gold, and silver from the holy entrails of these mountains. Los Andes, the greatest system in the all. Unscrupulous lawyers contrived licenses for the use of mercury and cyanide. The earth, great-grandmother of us all, was worn to shreds by lethal perforations. Our fields of corn are now a barren land. Yes, this is Latin America, sir, a community of 600 million souls, divided by descent and greed. Now with no profit in it but the name of living and survival. Their owners tried in vain to sell this inhospitable land that I would not harm unless hunger drives me to do so. Criminal groups settled it, and bloody murder began. Kidnapping and never-ending slaughter have since then taken all these farms.
This is Latin America. the most fierce battlefield, the imposthume of much wealth and peace, which shows no cause without why man and woman die. What is a human being if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. A thought which quartered had but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say these things to do, sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Samples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this slaughter of such mass and charge, led by corrupt leaders whose spirit with ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and untrue to all that fortune, death, and danger dare. Even for gold. Rightly to be great is not to steer without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honors at the stake. How stand I then that half a father killed, a mother stained, silence of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While to my shame I have seen the death of peasants and soldiers, amidst a poverty enlarged by my own family. 20,000 dead, which is not time enough on continent to hide the slain. From this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. 10 years ago, when we landed in Bucaramanga, I heard a customs officer talking about us. Illegal drugs were discovered in our luggage, and by a letter signed by my uncle, lawyers were preparing my own death.
They bore my baby barefaced on the bier.
And in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove?
O heat, dry up my brains. Thy madness shall be paid by weight. Is it possible a promising woman should be more moral than an old man's life?
You must sing. Down, and you call him down. Oh, how the wheel of fortune gets down so fast.
He smiles. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. That screams. That's for thoughts.
Document in madness. Thoughts and remembrance fitted.
A scorn for you for leaving for Colombia. There's tenderness for you. And some fear for me.
You may call it empty face on Sundays. Oh, you must wear your tenderness with a difference.
There's a grief. Would give you sorrows, but they withered all when my father died.
Thought and affliction. Passion. Hell itself.
Will he not come again? No? No?
He is dead.
Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again.
He is gone. He is gone. We must cast away moan.
Elsinor must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. We shall labor jointly with your lawyer to give you a new content.
I have more words to speak in thine ear that will make thee dumb. Yet are they much too light for the board of the matter. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern candle leave Colombia. Of them I have much to tell. Farewell, he that thou knowest thine. Hamlet.
Yes, I'm the doctor in charge of the Elsinor house for the mentally ill. There is a willow grows as than a brook that shows its whole leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands things she come of crown flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples that liberal workers give a grosser name. But our nurses do dead men's fingers call them. There, independent birds, the coronet weeds clambering to hang, an envious silver brook. Down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like while they wore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it couldn't be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor rest from her melodious lay to mother death.
After 10 years of commitment, now must your conscience my acquittance seal, since you have finally known that he who slew your noble father pursues and wishes my own death.
It well appears. But tell me, why do you clean Hamlet's name before the law in the States, arguing madness, so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up?
For two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong. His mother lives almost by his looks, and for myself she is so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the moon moves not by her own but by the earth, I could not but by her. The other motive is that Hamlet's name has been associated to Elsinor for years, and dipping all his crimes to our investment, he will convert his sentence to our own, driving us to bankruptcy.
Nevertheless, I have a father lost, and a sister drowned into desperate terms. Someday, my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull, that we can let our beards be shook with danger and think it past time. You shortly shall hear more. I sent him to Colombia, where people die without the media taking note of it. He has accomplished a 10-year sentence. An imprisonment I prodded indeed. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. And that, I hope, will teach you to imagine.
High and mighty, you shall know I am set despoiled on Philadelphia. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes after so long time, when I shall first asking your pardon thereunto recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return.
What should this mean?
Let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart. I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
I ask you this.
Hamlet comes back. Would you undertake to show yourself your father's son, indeed more than in words?
To cut his throat in a church.
No public justice. We'll organize a tennis game between you and him, as a sport. And for that purpose, I'll anoint Hamlet's grip
with a poison as mortal that, if he sweats slightly, he may be before 10 minutes dead. If this should fail, therefore your project should have a back or second. Let me see. When in his motion he be hot and dry, he will call for a drink, and I'll have prepared for him a chalice, mixture of poisons, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there.
I have a hate of fire, that fain and blaze.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes.
Very distracted enemy, Market.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies has been as far or large as you have warranted. Her death was doubtful, and with that great command, ours was the order. She shall in ground unsanctified have lost till the last trumpet. For shall it our prayers, short, flint, and pebbles shall be thrown on her. Yet here she is, allowed her virgin friends, her maiden instrument, and the bringing home of bells and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, and ministering angels shall my sister be, and thou liest hell.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Farewell. I thought thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride meant to have decked sweet maid and not have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe, thou pour your dust on the quick and dead.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wounded ears? This is I, Hamlet, the poet!
The devil take thy soul!
Thou playest not well, prithee. Take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not impolite and rash, yet have I something in me dangerous that let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand!
What from us under?
Why I will fight with him upon this theme, until my eyelids will no longer wag.
My son, what theme?
My love, Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her? Souls!
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
What wouldst thou do? Would fast? Would weep? Would tear thyself? Would fight? Would drink a venom? Would eat human flesh? And do it? Dost thou come here to whine, to face me with living in her grave? Be buried quick with her and so with I. If thou prayed of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, sinking his pain against the burning sun, make us sound like a worm!
They are known, bound, I'll run as well as thou! Hear you, sir, what's the reason that you use me thus? As Bucaramanga was his faithful tributary, he prepared my flight in such a way that, taken by a foreign drug dealer, I was going to be put to sudden death. But instead, I paid a condemned I got after I confessed a false, hideous knavery.
Guilderstern and Rosencrantz, thus they confessed as well.
Why? Hey, they did make love to their employment. They are not near my conscience. They are defeated by their own insinuation grow. It's dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and fell incest points of mighty opposites.
But what a kin is this?
He that had killed my father and hurt my mother, put in between the election of my hopes, drawn out his angle for my proper life, and with such causiness, is not perfect conscience to greet him with this arm? And it's not to be done to let this canker of our nature come further evil. It will be short. The interim is mine. A man's life's no more than to say one. I am very sorry, Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favours. But sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Welcome back to the city of brotherly love.
Dost know this waterfront?
No, my good lord.
Thy stay is the more gracious, but this is a vice to know you.
Sweet lord, if you are at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from your stepfather.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence in spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use. It is for the head.
I thank you, lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, it's very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is a different cold, indeed, sir, indeed.
But yet, methinks it is very salty and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly. It is very sultry, as 'twere, I cannot tell how. But your stepfather, he bade me signify to you that he has placed a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Oh, nay, for mine ease in good faith. Sir, Philadelphia loves Laertes. Believe me, an absolute leader of the Union, full of most excellent differences, of very nice manners and great clothing. Indeed, if I were to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of politics, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a leader would seek.
What imports the denomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All his golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
You are not ignorant.
I would you did, sir, yet in faith, if you did, it would not such approve me. Well, sir.
The trustee, your noble stepfather.
Is that it?
Oh, he has arranged a tennis game tonight at 7 in his garden in private between you and Laertes. He wishes your differences be eased with the painless emotions of a game.
He did comply with his dog before his socket. That has he and any employee that I know only got the tune of the time and out of habit of encounter.
He will lose that tennis game, my lord.
I do not think so. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldn't think how ill all is here about my heart. It is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. But it is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
We defy augury. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, it is not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man has aught of what he leaves. What is it to live betimes? You must needs have heard how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature honor and exception roughly await, I here proclaim was duty. Was Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, and when he is not himself does wrong, Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His duty, if it be so. Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His duty is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts, that I have shot my arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand. Come on.
Come on.
I'll be your rocket, Laertes. In my ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery in the...
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
$15 love. $30 love. You know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace had laid the odds on the weaker side.
40 love. Do not fear it. I have seen you both. He is bettered, but therefore we have the odds.
Game de Laertes. 1 love, love 1.
This is too heavy. Let me see all it. These likes it well.
$15 love. I have prepared soda with ice upon that table. 30 love. Was it indeed too heavy for him?
His grip was slicked into his sweaty.
Remind Hamlet to drink water. It's good for his breath. 40 love.
You judge, bear a wary eye.
Game to Hamlet. 1-1, 1-1.
This racket is too light.
Give me a safe drink.
Love 15. Love 40. Game to Hamlet. 2-1, 1-2. New court.
Laertes.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath.
Take my napkin, Hamlet. Rub thy brows. Your mother carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Thanks, good mother.
Gertrude, do not drink. 'Tis the poison cup. It's too late.
In this party of forgiveness, I leave this action to you by myself.
When it's too heavy for me, it is too light for you. I don't recommend that racket. It made me lose.
Oh, let me wipe thy face.
And yet, 'tis against my conscience.
Look, the Gertrude there. How?
I am justly killed by my own device.
Oh, that's my mother!
The drink. Oh, dear Gertrude.
Poison poured in a brook of denied joy.
Villainy, a punishment! It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No drug in the world can do thee good. In thee there was less than 5 minutes of life. Treacherous instrument is on the ground. An envenomed grip. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. Oh, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. My treachery is to blame.
The grape! Envenomed too! Here, I challenge you to drink of your potion, thou incestuous, murderous, damned businessman! Is the union there?
Follow that lascivious mother. Exchange guilt with me, noble Hamlet. Thus near death, the secrets are vain.
Heaven make thee free of it. I cannot but follow thee. I die. Horatio. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, let it be. Horatio, I live, thou livest. report me and my cause to the unsatisfied world. It's now a month, give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I'll have it. Ah, good Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus a noun shall leave behind me. If thou ever hold'st me in thy heart, in thy heart's core, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to see my end.
Good night, sweet prince. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot purposes mistook fallen on the inventor's reeds. All this can I deliver.